If you've just been fired, you're probably not thinking clearly right now, and that's not your fault. There's confusion.
There's pressure. Sometimes there's even a deadline to sign something. And in this exact moment, people make decisions quickly, just to get it over with.
And those decisions can stay with you for years.
If you sign your termination package too quickly, you could be giving up
Money you didn't even know you were entitled to. So before you sign anything, before you decide it is what it is, just stay with me for a few minutes. Because what just happened to you is not just losing a job. There are layers to this. And if you understand them, you will feel a lot more in control. The problem is not that people don't know what happened to them. Deep down, you already know your situation. You know how much you worked, how you were treated, what felt okay, and what didn't. The real problem is this. People don't realize when something is legally wrong, because many things that feel normal are actually not supposed to happen. For example, working extra hours that were never properly recorded, being let go right after raising a concern, being given a number and told this is standard. These things are common, but common doesn't always mean correct. And because people don't recognize it, they accept it, they sign, they move on, without even knowing what they gave up, and only later realize they might have had options. So this video is not going to give you random advice. It's not going to tell you what to do in your exact situation. Instead, I'm going to help you think clearly about what just happened to you. I am not teaching employment law. I am helping people audit their situation after termination, because once you understand that, your next step becomes much easier. So instead of trying to understand everything at once, I want you to just ask yourself 5 very simple questions. Not legal questions, just real questions. Question 1. First, forget the termination for a moment. Just think about your time at this job. Do you genuinely feel that you were paid for everything you actually did? And I don't just mean your salary or your last paycheck. I mean the extra hours you stayed, the additional responsibilities you took on, the work that slowly became expected but was never really reflected in your pay. Because sometimes what feels like this is just how the job is actually something you should have been paid additionally for. And most people never even question it. And just because you didn't question it then, doesn't mean you can't question it now. Question 2. And once you thought about your time at the job, bring your focus to what is happening today. As of today, are you being given at least a minimum the law requires when someone is let go? This is your baseline, the minimum you must receive. For example, they can't just end your job and leave you with nothing. There has to be some pay after termination. Your benefits, like medical insurance, are supposed to continue for that period. If you have unused vacation, that has to be paid out. And they definitely can't say, we'll only give you this if you sign something for certain basic payments. Most people don't actually know what these minimum protections include. So if something is being given, they assume it must be correct. And that is exactly where people lose money. Question 3. And once you understand that there is a minimum set by law, the next thing you naturally start wondering is this just the minimum? Or could I actually be entitled to more than this? Because being given something doesn't mean you're being given everything. So this question is not, what did they give me? It's, is this actually everything I could be entitled to? For example, you might be told, we're giving you 2 weeks of pay. But depending on your situation, how long you worked, your role, your experience, you might actually be entitled to much more than that. Sometimes even months of pay. And once you start questioning the amount, you automatically look at what they've given you to sign. Question 4. Now look at what they've given you to sign. What exactly are you agreeing to? In most cases, you are signing a legal release or agreement. This is where most people focus, but not deeply enough. They see a number and assume that's final. But this matters. Once you sign, in most cases the matter is closed, which means you're giving up your rights to ask for anything more later. So this is not just an offer, it's a final decision point. And sometimes part of what's being shown as the offer was something you were already entitled to anyway. And finally, after looking at all of this, just take a step back. Question 5. Does something about this situation feel wrong? Beyond just the money? It's about whether the termination decision itself was fair. For real? Think carefully. Why was it you and not someone else? Did things change after you raised concerns? Were you treated differently at some point? Was there pressure, bias, or something that just didn't sit right? Because not everything unfair is illegal, but some things are, and recognizing that difference is important. Now, the reason I asked you these 5 questions is not to confuse you. It's actually to simplify everything. Because once you answer these honestly, your situation usually starts to fall into place. You begin to see what you were already owed, what you're being given right now, and whether something deeper may have gone wrong, and that clarity is what most people never get before they sign. And once you have that clarity, the first step is actually very simple. You go back to your employer, not to fight, but to understand and to clarify. You ask, what exactly is included in this offer, how it was calculated, and whether it reflects your full situation because you're no longer guessing. You're asking from a position of understanding. And sometimes, things don't get resolved at that stage. And that's where people usually feel stuck. But you're not limited to just your employer. There are specific authorities designed to handle different kinds of employment issues. For example, issues around minimum pay or termination entitlements can be taken to government bodies like the Ministry of Labor. Issues around discrimination or retaliation are handled by tribunals like the Human Rights Tribunal. So if one path doesn't resolve things, it's not the end of the process. And this is the part most people don't know. Many of these processes are actually accessible. They're often free to start. You can represent yourself, and you're not risking large legal costs just to explore your rights. So the idea that there's nothing I can do is often just not true. Because if everything employers offered was always correct, people wouldn't question it. Disputes wouldn't exist, and these processes or redressal forms wouldn't even be there. But they do exist, for a reason. So instead of trying to figure all this out at once, I've structured this as a step-by-step series. In this series, I'll walk you through how to understand what you're actually entitled to, how to identify what may be wrong in your situation, how to respond to your employer, and how to handle different scenarios properly and importantly. I'll also show you how to communicate at each stage, because knowing something is wrong is one thing. Knowing exactly what to say is what actually helps you move forward. Because this is not about taking revenge. This is about closing a professional relationship properly and making sure you receive everything you are entitled to. You don't need to figure everything out today. You don't need to react immediately. You just need to do one thing. Understand your situation before you sign anything. That's the difference, because once you understand, you're not reacting anymore. You're deciding.